What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Jacob Daniel back at it again here at the Speed Kills podcast. Now today, we're going over AJ McCarron's free agency and possible destinations. All right, let's get into it. All right, AJ McCarron is a fourth-year player out of Alabama. He was drafted in 2014 by the Bengals in the fifth round. AJ McCarron hasn't seen much playing time with the Bengals. He did almost lead the Bengals to their first playoff win in a really long time in 2015 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if it wasn't for Jeremy Hill fumble and a Vontaze Burfict personal foul, he might have won the playoff game for the Bengals. AJ McCarron this year is a free agent. His rookie contract ends up. There's some inconsistencies on whether he will be a restricted free agent or unrestricted free agent. He could be either. The NFL Players Association and McCarron are making the case that he is an unrestricted free agent, and the Bengals and the NFL are saying that he should be a restricted free agent. Now, this all goes back to AJ McCarron's rookie year, and they put McCarron on the injured list, and he wasn't able to play for a really long time, but he was physically able to play, and it all goes down to that, and we'll figure that out in February when the league makes the decision, and it's a big factor when it comes down to it. If he is a restricted free agent, this is what will happen. These are the restricted free agent tender options. When you're a restricted free agent, you have to go have tenders and all this stuff. One of the options is teams have 4 different tender options that they can place on the restricted free agent. That usually keeps those players from leaving. The first round tender, free agents can negotiate with other teams, but original team has the option to match any deal and will receive a first round selection if opts not to match the deal. Second round tender, free agent can negotiate with other teams, but original team has option to match any deal and will receive a second round selection if opts not to make the deal. Original round tender, free agent can negotiate with other teams, but original team has options to match any deal and will receive a selection equal to the round the player was originally selected in if opts not to match the deal. And the last one being right of first refusal. Free agent can negotiate with other teams, but original team has option to match any deal. The team will not receive any compensation if opts not to match another deal. So that's the ins and outs of his free agency. It all depends on restricted free agent, unrestricted free agent. But AJ McCarron, I think, is one of the top quarterback free agents, at least, because a lot of people want to see him play, and he has the talent to play, in my opinion. We'll start to go over possible destinations that he could land in, or end up teams that he will could end up playing for. And I'm going to start off with the Cincinnati Bengals, which he's a part of now. And I think this all remains on, if he's a restricted free agent, I think he'll stay with the Bengals, just because of all the options. The team with the 4 different tenders options, where it usually keeps them from leaving. I think that's what the Bengals will try to seek if he is a restricted free agent and they win the case with the NFL. I think they want to keep him just to see if he is good enough, and I would like to see him replace Andy Dalton, because I am a Bengals fan myself, but that is besides the point. And they'd like to see him be a restricted free agent because they'd love to get a first-round tender for him, or even a second-round tender. I don't think they're going to try to seek the last 2 of the 5 options, being the original round tender, because they're not. I think AJ McCarron, they tried to trade him to the Cleveland Browns, and they were going to give that, I think, a first-round pick. And I think AJ McCarron is worth a first-round or second-round pick, not a fifth-round pick. At least receiving compensation-wise. And the right to refusal, I think they might use that, but I wouldn't be 100% sure. But I think if he is a restricted free agent, then he will stay on the Bengals, and that would be happy for me, but it all depends on the league's decision. Other destinations being, my first one that I have down is the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals being a logical destination for any quarterback that's on free agency, because Carson Palmer just retired. They don't have Drew Stanton is not the future. Blaine Gabbert's not the future for the Arizona Cardinals, so they're trying to find one either being in the draft or in free agency. I think that's a legit place to go. I think he'd have success there, although with Bruce Arians also retiring from coaching, he would have to deal with a whole new coaching staff and all that stuff. My second option being the New York Giants. It seems like the New York fan base and the New York Giants as a whole are turning on Eli as it is, and I don't think Eli has very many playing days left, so I really think that they're gonna leave Eli and seek off new options, either with their first round pick, which is second overall, or through free agency. It all depends. They have Davis Webb, obviously, that they drafted last year, that was behind Eli, and I think he got very minimal playing time because Geno Smith was the backup to Eli, but Geno Smith is not the future whatsoever. I think this is a possible destination, but I don't think this is a likely one. I think they'll either go for the draft or they might try to get Kirk Cousins or someone else like that. But this is another possible destination. So yes, my another possible destination is the one besides the Bengals and some other ones on this list that I think is the most logical for A.J. McCarron is the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns tried to trade for A.J. McCarron right before the trade deadline. Something was messed up with paperwork, such a Cleveland move, or it could have been the Bengals, but we don't know. And the trade ended up not going through because they didn't send the paperwork to the league office, and everything went out of whack. So obviously, Hugh Jackson was the Cincinnati offensive coordinator in 2014 and 2015, and then became the Browns head coach in 2016. He was a part of the coaching staff that drafted A.J. McCarron, so you know that he likes him, and he tried to trade for him, so they really like him up there in Cleveland. And I think if he does go to Cleveland, he has a good receiving core up there. Corey Coleman, Josh Gordon, Ricardo Lewis isn't bad. Their O-line is improving. They have Duke Johnson, Isaiah Crowell are both decent running backs, Duke Johnson being a good receiving back out of the backfield. I think this is a good option for him, and I think it'd end up working out for the Cleveland Browns, but it all depends. The Cleveland Browns have the number 1 pick, and I think the number 7 pick in the first round of the 2018 NFL draft, so it depends where they try to address their quarterback issues. I think they might probably go in the draft or him, but I think this is another one where it's first if he's a restricted or unrestricted free agent. Another possible destination is the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos do not have a quarterback whatsoever. They drafted Paxton Lynch in the 2016 NFL draft, and then they also have Trevor Siemian, and neither of those quarterbacks worked out. Both of them played awful this season. I feel bad for Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders and that defense because they have all the pieces around there. They just need a quarterback to bring it all together. And if John Elway wants to bring in A.J. McCarron, I think he could fit in well. But I think John Elway is going for the bigger named quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins. He's brought in older quarterbacks before in free agency, so the Denver Broncos is a possibility, but I don't think it's likely. Another possible destination is the New York Jets. The New York Jets, I'm not sure if Josh McCown's contract is up. I think it might be, but if they decide not to re-sign Josh McCown and obviously go after another quarterback because the backup there is Bryce Petty and Christian Hackenberg, and I don't think either one of those picks are the future. Christian Hackenberg was not worth the second round or third round pick that they spent on him in the 2016 NFL draft. But that's also a possible destination just because they need a quarterback. If they don't sign Josh McCown, Josh McCown gave him all he had this year and played pretty well. So I think that's a possible destination. Another, and probably the final destination that I have, is the Washington Redskins. This is obviously if they don't sign Kirk Cousins to a huge deal or put him on the franchise tag. But if Kirk Cousins decides to hunt for those dollars, elsewhere besides the Redskins, they obviously need to bring in a quarterback. And I think that skill set wise, A.J. McCarron can immediately do what Kirk Cousins did in that offense and jump right in and fit right in. Jay Gruden was on the Cincinnati Bengals coaching staff from 2011 to 2013. That was right before A.J. McCarron's rookie year. So kind of connected, kind of not really, but if Kirk Cousins leagues, I think this is an obvious spot that he could go. I just think if A.J. McCarron is a unrestricted free agent, he is going to leave the Cincinnati Bengals and get paid and probably play somewhere else and play phenomenal. And I've said this before, and in my opinion of A.J. McCarron is, I think the Cincinnati Bengals should give him a shot to play over Andy Dalton, because Andy Dalton has proven time and time again that he's not clutch, and when it comes down to it, he's not got the job done when we really need it. We've had 2 losing seasons, so I think we should try something different, but that's also with Marvin Lewis being the head coach. So that's all I have for you guys. I'm sorry about the long video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe. It's your boy Jacob Daniel. Peace.